Hello YouTube, this is Outsiders and welcome back for another program on Pathfinder, going in depth on the Wizards class. This is we're going to talk about the 0 level spells first. I'm not going to talk about all of them. What I'm going to try and do in each of these programs to keep it short, and at the same token maybe just to emphasise your focus, is pick out 3 spells at every level and put your energy into those, put your focus on those. Now there are plenty of spells, and the first thing is to remember, and I'm going to use this in program 0, you've got to remember, I've said this before in a previous program, Wizards is all about timing. Equally as well, always depends on situation. So it very much depends on the situation that you're going into, can definitely determine your spell list. However, if I focus on just 3 spells that are generally very useful, at least it puts you in the right mind. Then of course, if you've got any questions about other spells that you'd like to ask, then feel free to throw it in. What I'll also try to do with this program is, when it's applicable, as we hit some of the spells, maybe that fall outside of our catchment area, why I'm not focusing on them maybe might be also quite a good idea. So I will try to do that in depth. So with 0 level spells, let's start off with the simplest thing to know, is that within Pathfinder, of course, all 0 level spells, once you've chosen your allotted amount for that day, you can cast them as many times as you like. Now by that very simple change, that makes 0 level spells very potent actually. It makes them very useful, and you mustn't lose sight of how valuable that is. Now at low levels, the following spell I think is very, very valuable. I haven't seen it used enough actually. I'm quite surprised, although I must be honest, I would quite favour it for enemy spellcasters. I think it's a really good one, which is Daze. 0 level Daze. Now you can only actually effectively use it on somebody once in a 1-minute period. However, it basically means they lose their next action, and that by its very definition is invaluable. Plus it's a will save, and as anybody knows who breaks the system down, will saves are generally quite tough for most people. Again, you have to quantify the battlefield when you cast spells like this and be aware of who you're casting at, but you know, good choices are large fighter types coming towards you, or who are engaged in with your friends. It's a good spell. Check it out, have a good look at it, see what you think. But I find it very useful. But you must remember, it can only be used once in a 1-minute period. Of course, Daze will quickly lose its potency because it only works up to 4 hit dice. But for the first few levels, that's plenty good for me. So that's something I would focus on. Of course, 0 level spells would not be 0 level spells without Detect Magic. How many times has Detect Magic been useful in campaigns? I could not possibly count. It's an unbelievable amount of times Detect Magic is useful. It can be used almost constantly, it can be used all over the place. I take advantage of that, and I would use it all the time. That could yield magical traps on doors, it could give you information about what's around the next corner. Again, with all Detect spells, you have to remember that effectively, if it's passing, the Detect Magic will range out to 60 feet, but of course if it's going through something like a door, etc., etc., a referee will make a call, and if there's more than, you know, a few millimetres of stone or steel or something like that, the referee's likely to say it can't penetrate beyond into that room, but it can certainly reach round and bend round the corner. So it still has a lot of uses. I wouldn't lose the emphasis on that, and I would certainly be thinking about that as one of my key spells. And you know what? Another 0 level spells that's invaluable is, if you think about group makeup and the content of your group, Light spell. How many people will not be able to see in the dark? Probably more likely the Magician. If you don't have light, you can't centre some of your attacks later on in the game. Invaluable, particularly at low levels. Of course there are others we could focus on, but these are 3 that I would like you to focus your attention on at this point. Anyway, this has been about Wizards specifics, particularly around the spells, particularly around Pathfinder. I hope you're finding it of some usefulness. Until the next time, take care of yourselves and happy gaming. This has been Outsiders.